Hello and welcome to the NASM-CPT Podcast and our NASM Facebook Live webcast. I want to say thank you so much for being a part of it. As always, our gratitude, our cup runneth over, so thank you for everything that you do and the support that you provide. Today, it's interesting. There are a lot of places that are opening back up right now. We've been closed down for a long time. I'm in New York City, and that's been squashed, so it's been pushed back quite a bit longer. But for a lot of other people, you're able to open your facilities. You're able to go back to work. And this particular guest that I have with us today, it just serendipitously happened that it was scheduled for today, which is perfect because so many of you will be able to benefit from the conversation. And her name is Rachel Cosgrove. And if you are not familiar with the Cosgroves and you are a business owner, then please take advantage of this opportunity to familiarize with the work that they do and the business they have, Results University. So I want to shout out and say thank you to Rachel. Thank you so much for being with us today.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm excited to be here.
Awesome. Give a little bit of introduction for people who do and don't know you about yourself and what you do, and that way they have a better idea of the direction of this conversation as we start to move forward.
Sure, absolutely. We actually on Friday just celebrated our 20-year anniversary of opening the doors of Results Fitness. So my husband and I, Alan Cosgrove, opened Results Fitness. I can't believe it's been 20 years now. And yeah, we kind of had a different picture of how we were going to celebrate. But, we had our 20th on Friday. So over those years, we were personal trainers who had a passion for helping people. And, really it was about, loving what we did. And we had no idea how to run a business. And so as we opened our gym, we quickly realized we needed to learn fast how to run a business. And so, did everything, our bookshelf quickly went from all training and nutrition and, all of the certifications we had taken, including with NASM, to starting to learn more about business and starting to learn about marketing and about building a team and about, putting systems in place. And so over the last 20 years, that first, 5-10 years, we started to put all those systems in place, started to learn how to run a business and create the business that we have now. And so now we have a team of 15 people working for us. We, about 12 years ago, started our second company, which is Results Fitness University, which you mentioned. And really, we started to have trainers come out and say, hey, can we follow you around and see what you do? And, could you mentor me on my business? And so that's really where that business came about. It was really a solution to, a demand. And so we started to invite trainers to come out and hang out with us and see how we run our business and teach them the model. And it turned into our mastermind coaching program, which we have gym owners from all over the world who we coach and consult with and help to mentor. And so it's a lot of fun working with other business owners who are all over the world. So now at this point, our gym runs itself. So we get to just, go in and when it's open, go in and work out and high five our team, and it's really a lot of fun. And we full-time help other business owners to create that same business that gives them the freedom to do the things that they want to do.
Awesome. Thank you. And I think you brought up a couple of things that we've spoken to before with NASM, and one is the creation of systems. And that was what initially had drawn me to NASM, was that there's a system to follow. It's not just a bunch of information, and then you got to figure out what to do with it. But it's systems. And with any good business, when you set up a system, everybody can take that system and implement it into their business. And, they can color within the lines however they want to color. It can still be their business and their gym and their training style and their information. But within guidelines, it certainly helps people with direction. And it also helps people to do what you just said, which is create a system, and then it can kind of run itself the way that you guys have set up. The second thing I want to mention with that is the mentorship. And I was invited to be a speaker on a webcast just recently. It's called Brady Talks. And Myrna Brady was talking to me about what is this next step that people can do. And I said a lot of people love to look up to the educators, which, they might be at the sessions and the conferences and things like that. And they're seen on a platform and they're heard. And people say, I want to do that. And I told them on the call, I said, if you can be a mentor, Don't worry about trying to educate and teach people on this. Like, you can do so much as a mentor, and people, if you've never had a mentor that works directly with you, then I would love to direct them over to you guys at Results Fitness University and experience what a real mentorship is like, and then pay that forward as they continue with their fitness journey. And when we all tend to say, what's next? I think what you guys do is a great what's next for people.
Well, thank you. Yeah, absolutely. We love working with other fitness business owners. And like you said, it's definitely helping them to find that next step on their path. I think, like you said, people think there are certain expectations that maybe that's not the right path for you. And even opening a business isn't the right path for everybody. And, really making sure that we figure out what is the right path for each person and each business too. Each business is different.
Well, let's open this up, girl, because we've got some serious things to talk about right now, and there are a lot of people nervous about the future and what the future looks like. And I'll say for me, I've got 4 facilities in New York, and we signed a lease on a 5th facility about a week and a half prior to the shutdown. So, and our landlords are still requiring payment. So there's a lot of fear, and I am not the only business owner in this boat, which is why I'm not as scared as probably I would be, because if it was just me, I'd be like, but it's everybody. What are you hearing about the nervousness and the fears and more things, and what are some of the ways that we can allay maybe some of those fears and develop some strategies with it?
Yeah, I mean, definitely there's so much fear, so much uncertainty, and, working with the number of business owners that we do work with, we've been working very closely with them. So as this did all happen, we actually had just had a live event, a mastermind event, like a week before everything started to get really weird. and so we were all together. And so as this started to happen and things started to get shut down and all of our businesses started to get shut down, we were already kind of, running closely together, tightly knit together. And so I think definitely you need to find people, listening to things like this, like definitely connect to other people in the industry. Because like you said, that is the really nice part about this crisis, is that you're not in it alone. Like everyone keeps saying we're in it together, and we truly are. Like it's, that is kind of comforting to know that, it's not just you going through this. As far as the fear goes, I mean, I think, the two mantras I've been using throughout this has been control the controllables. So, and we all have had weeks, I started off very like certain and strong and like, we got this, and then as we get into like week 6, week 7, week 8, and you're like, oh wait, do we have this? Like what's, and now we're into week 10, we're heading into week 10 now, which I'm just, baffled. And so I've had my moments of uncertainty and fear as well. We all have. And I think that's something that, we have to recognize that, and that it's, if there's anybody that's telling you with any certainty what is going to happen or what's, I think, you probably need to run the other direction, because none of us truly know what's going to happen. But I think what we can do is we can control what we can control, and we can, look at, okay, what can I do to make sure I show up for my clients is the other mantra I've been, control what you can control and show up. And so who can I show up for today? And I think all of us as fitness professionals, if we step into what we do best, which is to help people, that helps us to move away from that fear, which is paralyzing. Fear can just put you in this paralyzed state where you just want to curl up in a ball and get nothing done, to, how can I show up for somebody today? How can I jump on live and help my clients? How can I put some content out that's going to, maybe reach out to a new person who, is also worried and afraid? How can I, who can I help today? And so I think if you ask yourself that question every day, that's going to help to every day continue to move forward, to start to think about, okay, yes, we want to get our businesses back open, but if we're not open yet, what can I do today? What do I have control over today? And then as we look toward the future, I am excited about the future. I am excited about when this is all over and the standard of our industry. I do feel like this is going to force our industry to elevate to a whole new standard. And I think that is exciting, and I think the storm is definitely longer than, I think we all expected. And as we weather that storm, I think there's going to be, people that are going to end up standing strong at the end of this, that are going to change the standard in our industry.
Yeah, they're going to be, we're already seeing it. There's a wonderful shift into virtual delivery of many different fitness ideas and concepts, and that was going on prior to the COVID crisis, but it wasn't so en masse. And there are a lot of people shifting over to that. I think gyms are starting to realize that there are a couple things, and I found this really valuable, is that when we look at the number of people that have memberships to any type of fitness facility nationwide, that number is really low. And anytime a gym opens, usually it's siphoning from another gym facility, right? So we're not addressing the 80%, if we just say, let's say 20-80 rule, that 20% of people of age have a gym membership. Who's addressing the other 80%? And this virtual means is allowing us to, and gyms, to have greater outreach towards people and developing new markets. So I think it's great. I love what's happening in that regard. Now, it is devastating what's happening in many other regards, so I'm not trying to downplay that. And one of the things that you mentioned in a newsletter is that it's not just about reopening. I'm going to have you speak to this a little bit, but it's about rebuilding, because there's going to be some devastation, not just with us having been closed, but with that getting people in the door to see us. And you've talked about outreach on a regular basis, but what does that rebuilding process include, to whatever degree that you can speak on it? And these are about the controllable. So what can people do, these business owners or individuals, to help rebuild what they've lost?
Yeah, absolutely. And it's there's three things: retaining our current members, and I think that's been one of the number one priorities for us and our coaching members, is how do we make sure we communicate and keep them engaged so that we can retain who we have. And then reopen, so reopening your facility. And how you reopen, like, you could have done all this hard work to set everything up and keep everybody engaged and do a great job, but then if you rush into reopening or don't do it the right way, you can definitely really all the hard work you've done. So really making sure you have a plan in place to reopen, to make your clients feel safe, make your employees feel safe, show that you're going that extra effort to really create an environment that is professional. And that goes back to, what I was talking about elevating the standard. I feel like the level of professionalism has to be at a whole new level. If you, weren't wearing uniforms before, you probably want to think about wearing uniforms. If we want to think medical, we want to think, where people walk in and it's like streamlined and clean, and, it's not like the old school, so it just kind of think about your culture, think about what your setup looks like, think about your environment. And when you walk into your gym, does it tell people, that you are making that extra effort to make sure everything is clean? And a lot of it is about perception. It's not even that, really, even if, does having your counters cleaned off really mean that there's no coronavirus? Like, no, not necessarily, but that does give the perception of, hey, everything is completely clean. I've taken every effort to make sure that, we're sanitized, we're disinfected, and we're doing everything we can. So I think just making sure you're going that extra effort, and then rebuilding. And so, yes, we are going to have to rebuild our businesses. I know that every week as this goes on, we're all, clients are trickling down, right? Like, as much as we're keeping our clients engaged and as much as we're, come on, we can do this, clients are getting sick and tired of home workouts. Some of them love it. Like, we just set a survey out, and we had, we have, a percentage of our clients, about 30% of our clients, that are just like, I'm good. Like, I like the home workouts. I'm not ready to come back into the gym. I want to keep doing what I'm doing. And I'm like, wow, okay. Because to me, I'm like, I'm done with home workouts. So, but some people are really loving it. And so realize that. And like you said, this is now a part of your business. Don't stop making your virtual coaching better every day, and we can keep doing that right now. That's something we have control over, is how can I get the video quality a little better? How can I get the sound a little better? How can I make better interaction with the clients? How can I make this even better? Because it's going to be a part of what you do. Like, there are going to be clients that they are going to want that. And I think there's going to be a hybrid membership of some clients that have experienced that. And in our survey, we already have people saying, actually with my schedule, I think it'd be great if I could come in the gym twice a week and then do workouts online twice a week. And, they're actually starting to think about this hybrid membership. And so the fact that now you have all of these options and all of, everything to offer to your clients, it might look a lot different as they do come back. And then, of course, we do have a huge percentage of members, about 60% of our members, that are like, open now, I want to come back, and I want to be in person, And so that's where, getting those people back in the door as soon as we do get the green light is going to be important to rebuild. And I think, that's where I think as we do need to rebuild our businesses, so that percentage that wants to come in the doors, a lot of those people may have frozen their memberships by this point. They are not participating in your online or virtual workouts, and they're just waiting for you to reopen. And so making sure you have a system in place to reach out to all those people as soon as possible when you do get the green light to reopen. Reach out to past members. There's going to be a lot of gyms that unfortunately don't make it through this. And so, then making sure you have a marketing plan in place. Do you have your marketing funnels figured out? Again, this is all stuff we have control to start working on now. We can start figuring out what are our marketing funnels going to be as we do get the green light to open the doors. How are we going to let other people in our community know that, hey, we have, a safe place to come work out. And if your gym is, not reopening or hasn't reopened, come try us out, right? So and I think there's going to be so many different angles we can take. I mean, I think our industry is going to be more important than ever when this is over, as far as people wanting health and fitness, people wanting to build a strong immune system, knowing that fitness is going to be so important to people. How do we show up for them? So I think there's a lot when it comes to rebuilding as far as the marketing. Number one, just making sure you're keeping your current clients, getting them back in. I think that's first, get them back in your doors, get some testimonials from them, get videos. A lot of our coaching members who've already opened, we have coaching members open in Utah, in Arizona, and they're, all of their clients, they're getting videos from them of, wow, I feel so safe. This has been amazing. It's so great to get back in the gym. And so then they're posting those videos. And so, having that, so people start to see, like, even the people that are unsure and like, oh, I don't know if I'm ready to go back to the gym, like, oh, you know what, it looks like it's safe, it's fun, it's, okay, maybe I will, maybe that will be the one place that I go, maybe I go, to the grocery store and I go to the gym, and that's my, and maybe that's, so it's getting that message out and really making sure you're ready to capture those videos of your clients as they come back, get that marketing out, and then have those marketing funnels in place to let everybody know that, hey, we're the experts, we're here, we're ready to help you. And I think a lot of people are ready to, really step their fitness up after they've been, locked up for 9 weeks. So I think it'll be good.
This guy
I think all of us. Yep.
Sure. You've mentioned probably a dozen times the word survey. I want you to expand on this a little bit, and then for any of the businesses that are not doing surveys with their member base or their client base, can you just speak to the importance and the value of the survey?
Did I say it a dozen times? I'm kidding.
Definitely, that's low ball.
Well, it is important. Yeah, and that's part of communication. I think, communication is so important. If you have not been communicating regularly with your clients, and even if maybe when this first started, you were communicating regularly, and maybe now, like 9 weeks in, you're like, they're fine. Like, no, you still have to get in front of your clients and communicate and have that interaction with them. So part of that communication is giving them a chance to give you feedback, so making sure, you are giving them that opportunity. And so, yeah, we sent out a survey, and all of our coaching members did this, as you are getting closer, hopefully, to open, as you want to start to find out, how many of them, I asked, how many of them were using our virtual services, and just to get an idea of, how many people are using the different things we were offering. And then there is a percentage that are not, they're doing their own thing and ready for us to reopen. And then I asked, how many people are ready to come back, immediately, how many in a few weeks, how many, and I use a Google Doc, and you can easily put together a survey through a Google Doc, and it has all of, then you have your nice pretty graphs that you can see what all the answers are, and, you get all of your clients' information. The other thing I would recommend putting on there is a testimonial for your virtual services. So I did say, if you wouldn't mind sharing a testimonial, and that's actually been really great to get a ton of, again, marketing content. So our clients are sharing how much they've gotten out of the virtual virtual services, how much they love them, and so now I have a whole list of testimonials. Plus, when you're having a bad day, there's nothing wrong with having a list of good things being said about your business. So when you are feeling frustrated and down, you can go in and read your list of testimonials, and it gives you a little boost. And then, I did ask if there were any concerns or anything that, as coming back into the gym, that they were really worried about. And so that gave me a real, idea of, like, I want to know. I don't want them to not tell me. I'd rather know than not know. So as much as I laid out all of the stuff we're going to be doing to reopen safely, I want to know if there's something else that's going to concern them. And so just, really realizing some of them are concerned about who else is there with them, right? Which some of these things I don't have control over. I can control the number of people and keep it a low number of people, but, I'm not going to necessarily be able to say you're only going to work out with this person. So that's stuff that, you got to look at and go, okay, well, maybe that person's not ready to come back because, I don't want to put them in a situation where they're going to feel unsafe. And so, it just gives you a good thermometer of, okay, who's ready to come back and who will feel safe and feels like, they're not afraid, and get them in first, and I think a discreet first opening is probably good, getting some of your raving fans in who are not, nervous about it, so that all, you can really make sure you feel good about everything and that everybody's, everybody's feels good. You got your systems down. Cause things like we're doing like a pod system where each client will get their own equipment. So, what's the flow going to be like? Are we going to be able to, move people through as quick enough? We're going to try to really have a hard start and a hard stop to our sessions so that we can get 15 minutes to clean everything once they leave before the next session starts. And usually in the past, we've been very like, finish your workout as you get, because it's very social. And so it's finding that balance of what is this going to feel like? And so I think it's important initially to get those people in who you feel comfortable with, who, they feel comfortable, and maybe you don't invite the people back that have a lot of concerns or that, and also some of those concerns, you can address. And, I think having those conversations with people, especially as they come in, I think we have to be ready as owners to have some tough conversations. Like clients haven't talked to anybody for 9 weeks. They've been in their homes, so they're going to want to like pour everything out to you. And so just making sure as the owner that you're available and that you're there and that, you're there to back your team up, because I think there is going to be a lot. It's going to be a lot, I think, as we do get reopened.
Yeah. Are you in your checklist? Are you doing things like setting up additional plans for social distancing? Are you creating guidelines around, no physical contacting or queuing for the fitness professional and the client? What are the social distancing? I don't know if solutions is the right word, but
right.
Protocols that you guys have come up with.
Yeah, in California, we haven't been given any set rules yet. And, it doesn't look like, they're going to let us open anytime soon. But, so part of it is waiting to hear what they tell us, we have to do. But as far as what we're planning, I'm assuming we're going to be in the keep it to under 10 people in the gym, which has been kind of an ongoing. Some of the gyms, like Arizona, was keep it to 25% of capacity. So some of the gym owners we work with, it's been different rules, different places. So you just never know what in your area. So you do have to be ready to, pivot, or, if they do end up making it, harder on you than you were planning, or, who knows. But we are planning 10 people at a time, which includes staff. So for us, we have a shake bar and a juice bar. So front desk person, our manager, and then 2 coaches with 6 people is going to be the max we're going to start off with. So each coach, we do semi-private coaching. So each coach would have their 3 clients. And then as people come in, we would have, a sanitation station. So they're going to, sanitize and hand sanitizer, wipe down their feet, and then come on in, and we'll have it spaced out in the warm-up room so they can, grab their area, so they're 6 feet spaced apart. And then as the coach finishes off, cleaning the strength room, which is where the sessions will really take place, they'll come over, meet the clients, get them warmed up, and then take them over to our strength area, which we have 6 like power racks. So, and, with a whole setup. So basically each person will have their own power rack, own bar, whatever the workout is that day. We're going to probably be more on a generic type of a template. We usually do super customized programs. And so initially, I think we will work out more on a generic template just to keep things simple so that we can, keep each client with their own equipment. They'll have their own everything, and that way they aren't sharing anything. They're spaced, 6 feet apart. So yeah, we definitely have all of that, ready to go as far as, and we are going to put little, areas on the floor marking so that they know, like, this is my area, that's your area, so they feel safe. I think that's, I'm hoping that's only going to be for, I don't know, I'm hoping it's temporary, and then we will hopefully move back into more customized programming and everyone feeling a little more comfortable. But obviously we got to see, right? We got to see what happens as everybody gets back. A lot of the states that are reopening seem to be doing okay, and our gym owners are doing great. The clients are just having a great time, and, all of the feedback has been that, they feel safe, and it's so great to get back in the gym, and, they're just very thankful to be able to get back in the gym. So they've been running that same system, so that's the idea of what we're going to be doing.
With all of this going on, you've also mentioned a couple of times creating marketing funnels. For any of the business owners out there that aren't familiar with the idea of funnels and marketing funnels, can you explain it, identify what those purposes are, and how that develops kind of different markets for the same business?
Sure, absolutely. So I think of it as a stadium, and you're the rock star putting on a rock show in the middle of the stadium.
Oh, I love
and and we need to make sure that everyone knows you're putting on this show. Okay, so your show is your gym, the awesome workouts that you're putting on. So we have, people who don't even know the show's going on, so they are not even aware that you exist, and they don't even know that it's happening. And so we have those people we need to get in front of, and then we want to try to invite those people to, maybe now they have a flyer in their hand and they're considering coming to the show, but they don't know, and maybe they start to hear about it from someone else, so they can, maybe buy a ticket. Maybe they buy the nosebleed tickets, and they're, at the top, kind of, listening to the show, not all in. And we basically, as you can, get the idea, is we want to work them towards those VIP seats where they're front row in the mosh pit, like all in, raving fans. And so that's the idea, is really just, finding ways, and you can kind of go to each of those levels of, okay, we all know who our VIP raving fans are that are, all in, and as soon as we open our doors, they're going to be like running back into the gym. They don't care what's happening. And then knowing that, okay, all of them have maybe friends or family that they're referring, that they've brought in, or maybe you have different levels. So you always want to have different levels of your membership. So now we have this new level of a virtual membership that maybe that some of those people are new, and if you haven't added anybody to your business, since this started, I would definitely start to put some kind of a referral campaign in place, or, start to put some Facebook ads out. I mean, people are home, they're on their phones right now. There's so much opportunity right now to get in front of people. So if you start putting content out and start to boost your content and get it in front of some of the people that don't know you exist, those people are on their phones. And if you've just targeted, women, and they don't even have to be in your area, but in your area, then, it's likely that they may have heard of you, or they've, so when they see your ad, they'll be like, oh, I didn't know they were doing something. And then they can click and end up on your website. And then the goal is to get them to give you their email address. So kind of the flyer in their hand would be, they gave you their email address, and they're like, I want to know more, right? They're not ready to sign up with you yet, but they've given you your email address. So I would say right now, focus should be on building that email list. So if you don't currently have an email database, get that set up. That's an easy thing to do, and something that you can start to find ways to add to that email database. And then that gives you a database that when you do reopen, you can, and I would start to email them every week, build that relationship with them. When people become interested in what you do, it still takes like 7 to 21 times to get them to actually take action and join your gym. It's never going to be a, oh, there's a gym, click, buy, and they become a client. Rarely. Sometimes that happens, but usually they're going to hang out, watch what you're doing, get to know you. And so if you get their email address, now you can reach out to them every week. So that's a funnel. So a funnel is basically thinking of the wider part of the funnel is these people that don't know who you are, never heard of you, and you're funneling them down to give you their email, give you their email address, so you can start to contact them. And then eventually maybe they sign up for an $89 trial of your virtual services, and then eventually, they become your VIP in the front row, never misses a show, signed up for whatever you're offering type of thing. So does that help explain it?
I think that's a good way to explain it. It's a good way to explain it, and it's fun because I think a lot of fitness professionals see themselves as rock stars anyway. So that is the perfect analogy for our particular group that we're addressing right now. I want to share with you something that was pretty interesting. So my business partner at Independent Training Spot reached out to people and just started doing this, and I thought it was really valuable. And he just reaching out to trainers, because we basically rent space to personal trainers. And he said, what do you want from us in order for you to feel comfortable coming back, in order for your clients to feel comfortable coming back? And it's interesting because some people will just say like, oh, here are a couple of things that I throw out there. And yes, okay, we have sanitizer and we have this. And some people will write you a mini dissertation on what it is that you could and should and want to think about, and maybe this. And as long as that is potentially to read through, it's so valuable. It's so valuable. And it's not quite we didn't set it up the surveys maybe like you guys had done, and then we don't have really any analytics, but what we do is we code everything and we put them to the side and we say, okay, how many people have mentioned this and how many people mention this? But sometimes the things that are only mentioned by one person, it's like, oh my gosh, yeah, why didn't we think about that? And this is one of the things that we do as business owners, even as educators. We try to answer questions before questions arise. So if I can minimize the amount of questions because I've thought ahead of what those questions are going to be, I can answer them in advance. And then you look at it and you go, man, what a great session. What a great experience. But we don't think about everything. And that's why I think it's super valuable to receive information. Now, once we do that, that then carries over into some marketing material at this point as well. So trying to bring everything together, because everybody else wants to know what you plan on doing with your business before I show up there. So if I'm doing this and I'm creating these protocols, I'm getting this information in, I'm trying to develop this moment of, can I be the most at ease as possible at your business? And we do that on a regular basis, presumably, but right now it is in front of everybody's minds. If there's anything that maybe aren't mainstream, kind of, let's make sure that there's, a Purell station or a sanitizing station. Let's make sure that we've got our wipes here. And, some of it is masks, right? Do we wear masks when we work out? The fitness professionals wear masks and the other people don't. Like, there's still questions that are being put out there as to which direction are we going to go? Because I don't know about you, Rachel, but I've worked out. I've gone out to Riverside Park in New York City and gone running with a mask. Not enjoyable working out or running or getting your heart rate up or respiratory rate up with a masks on. So just kind of, I know this is not a direct question. It's more conversation and pick up whichever piece you want to. But in this communication, answering questions before they get asked, creating safety, creating concern, understanding concern, getting information from people that are present around us, and then sometimes creating guidelines that aren't going to be really comfortable for everybody. Just what are your thoughts on that? And then specifically, I do want to ask the question about the mask and what your thoughts are, because if we're not legally, and you mentioned we don't know what California is doing yet, and same thing in New York, we don't know what New York's going to do yet. But sometimes there's law, and then sometimes there's what we do above that to make things better. So what are some of those kind of things where if we're not mandated something, where do we as fitness professionals step up and business owners maybe go a little bit farther for the safety of those around us?
Yeah, and it's definitely a hard question. And I think something we've been telling our business owners is you have to feel good about, everybody's going to feel different. We all have different opinions. We all have different, thoughts. We've all read different things, making sure you do have valid sources. So reading the research and knowing that, whatever you are reading and whatever is, that is making you make your decisions is something that is, really based on science and not necessarily somebody's opinion. And so being careful of your own resources so that way you're not making decisions based on things that might be from somebody else's opinion. I think sometimes that happens where, one person's opinion is another, and then pretty soon it gets, like telephone. But if you don't feel comfortable with it, bottom line, like you're the owner of the business, you got to figure out like what you feel best about. If you don't feel ready, if they say green light, you can open and you're not fully comfortable with opening, don't open, like you definitely should not open. Don't feel pressured to open. So I think there are some decisions that each of us have to make personally. I mean, this is definitely something that's affecting all of us differently. Some of us know people, some people know people who have died of COVID. So, if you are, personally, you're in a position where you don't feel comfortable, I highly suggest you wait. Do not rush into it. Do not open your business. And if you feel strongly about, yes, I think everyone should wear a mask. I'd feel uncomfortable, then have people wear masks. And I think it's your business. You got to decide what you feel best about, because if you don't feel good and you don't feel confident with your environment, then there's going to be a problem. So I think that's number one across the board. Personally, I like you said, I don't think it's safe to restrict your airway when you are exercising. I hope that we aren't, they don't make that a mandatory thing to wear a mask. We will make it optional if our clients want, they want to wear it, unless California says they have to. We actually had quite a few of our clients say that if they had to wear a mask, then they probably wouldn't come back to the gym. They'd probably stay home and work out because that would be really uncomfortable. But then we had another client who wrote us, like you said, a whole thesis on why, we should require masks. And so it's, you're like, okay, we got, you got all kinds of, different people and different opinions. And, personally, yeah, I mean, I think, wearing a mask is you're protecting the people around you, which is very nice. It's respectful to do. But, is it truly going to keep them if you have COVID, are you going to keep them from getting COVID by wearing a mask? I don't know. It's debatable, right? So more, making sure that we have some kind of a, doing everything else we can do to make sure that we're creating a safe environment. If it's required of us, we will require everyone to wear masks. We will require our team to wear masks because I think it will make our clients feel more comfortable and they aren't exercising. So, that's something that, in a business, it is required currently. So I'm sure that's going to be required. So I have been telling my trainers, start wearing masks so you can get used to it because it's going to be part of your uniform. And, that will be, I just don't really think it's a good idea.
Are you going to have branded masks?
I don't know how I feel about that. I don't know how I feel about our logo on a mask. But our clients, I'm hoping that they won't, or maybe they wear one as they're warming up and then, but as they start to, if you're working out, if we're like actually working out, it's not like wearing a mask. And so hopefully, with the space, everyone will feel comfortable enough that, they're spaced apart and, and then, something that I did get the idea of, so on your other note of like ideas or the kind of outside of the box, was a sanitation promise, and really like that promise of we are going to use the forehead thermometer as they come in. So testing their temperature, asking them if they've been around anybody that's had any symptoms, or if they've had any symptoms, and then that like actually signing something, which, maybe we'll feel some of the people that feel like, I don't know, what about the other people that are in there? Are they being as careful as I am? It's kind of the questions people have. Like if I'm being super careful and washing my hands and, not in wearing a mask when I go to the grocery store and making sure I'm really being cautious and using hand sanitizer, are the people around me doing the same thing? Because if they're doing the same thing, then we should all be okay, And so I think that idea of like a sanitation promise, where you basically just have like, here's what we all promise to do. We all promise throughout our day to wash our hands regularly. We all promise throughout our day to, use hand sanitizer, wear a mask when we're in somewhere public, like all of these things so that when we come into the gym, we know that, okay, I know you haven't been around people that, maybe would be putting you at risk, that then would put me at risk. So that's something to think about, is some kind of a promise maybe that might make your clients feel better and your team feel better too, that like, hey, we all agree to each other and we all promise that, and if we have symptoms, we are not going to come in, no, even if it's just something minor, even if we just feel, like a little bit of a sore throat, don't come in,
Now, right? Because it's allergy season. So
Totally.
like, you should see me during allergy season. I look like I have had COVID for the past 40 years. You know what I mean? Like just like, and worse. So this is something that came up prior to the shutdown too, where I've had to have conversations with people, and it's weird and it's uncomfortable, and it's what we have to do as business owners. But you're coughing, right? You have a runny nose. I see you going and getting tissue and wiping your nose or blowing your nose, and they tell me, oh, it's just allergies. And I go, oh, well, I don't know how to answer it. Well, this is the time of year, and this is when this happens. I get it. That's hard. That's hard to address. So
Yeah,
like,
it is.
we
And yeah,
have to do what we feel is appropriate. But here was the other interesting thing. I was like, okay, I get that, and this is something seasonal you've had at this time of year. Oh, but that doesn't mean the other people were comfortable with it. So do you have to make decisions that for the group, for this one individual that is presenting some type of symptom that may or may not be, COVID or any other type of communicable disease, and we're in a weird place now where we have to make those decisions for people, especially once we open back up, because people are going to be sneezing, people are going to be coughing, they're going to have runny nose, they're going to have all of these other things. I can't smell. Well, I can't smell because my nose is stuffed up, or right? Like, now what?
Yeah, I think it's, especially in the beginning, I think we have to, hopefully they figure something out, and, this isn't how we have to live for too long. But, definitely I think in the beginning, like, just while people are starting to get around each other again, you have to. And as the leader of your business, when you're bringing people together for the first time, if you aren't putting things in place to really make sure and we've always been super strict at Results Fitness about it anyway. You aren't allowed to come in and work out if you're sick. And we've had clients not happy with us, when we've sent them home because they've come in sick. And it's always been a rule like, hey, if you're sick, like there's no reason to work out anyway, go home, rest, get better, and come back when you're well. And we, this is a place where people are healthy, and we don't want, so it's always been so our clients are used to us kicking them out if they're sick. So that's something we've done before. But, definitely at a whole new level, right? Like, yeah, I wouldn't normally kick somebody out if they had a little runny nose and, some allergies, or they sneezed. I mean, yeah, like, I was had my mask on in Whole Foods in the aisle, and I felt a sneeze coming on, and I'm like, oh God, like, I'm like, they're going to kick me out. Like, what's happening? Like, it's like, yeah. And I was like, it was just like the mask was like tickling my nose, and you're just like, oh geez, what's that? It's like terrifying. Like, you're like terrified to sneeze, and it's definitely a weird world. And so, I think, as we do get reopened, it's going to, it is going to be interesting, and I think I think right now everyone's on high alert anyway, so I don't think it'll be too hard. I think people understand. I don't think that you're going to have, too much of a hard time if they're going to understand that you want to protect your business and that you want to protect the clients that are coming to your business. So just, make sure you're ready, that you might have to have some difficult conversations.
Good, thank you. Real quick, before I ask for questions from the audience, I want to make sure you have time to go over those questions. So are you good on time, Rachel? I
have another meeting at 10 o'clock. So we have,
all right, some time. We'll get a few more minutes. So Greg, do you have any questions that have come in through the chat for Rachel? And if not, I certainly have a couple more things to address.
Yes, we do. A couple questions that came in. You guys have answered a lot of them, but one of them here from Michelle, she wants to know what online platforms are you guys currently using to kind of do your online programming that you're doing to keep your users engaged right now?
Sure. We are using the Bridge, so I highly recommend the Bridge. We actually were already planning to roll out the Bridge before this at the mastermind event that we had with our coaching members. We actually shared it with them, shared the Bridge, and we had a deadline of getting it rolled out by June. And so then as of, that next week, we basically had it all rolled out. And so it's called The Bridge, and it's really great as far as you can have, our clients have their customized programs that they can access on their phones. They have, we shot videos of all the exercises. They can even communicate with their coach through The Bridge. So basically, they can send a message, or they can even shoot a video of them doing the exercise, and then get some, even coaching from the coach, like, hey, take your feet a little wider, or, and that's been really awesome. Our clients love it. And just to keep track of their workouts, to have that communication, and then have the videos right there so they know exactly what they're doing.
Nice. Anything else on that, Greg?
Yeah, Kelsey wants to know if you're going to change your programming from customized to more general, will you also alter your pricing?
So no, it'll just be for the first couple weeks, I think, and it's not like it'll be a general template. So I might have, like, everybody's going to be doing a squat variation is the idea. But you might have one person using a barbell. You might have one person, deloaded, holding on to something, but they're all going to be doing a squat. So as far as the generic part of it, it's more just like a generic movement patterns, just to keep things simple for the coach so that, hey, we're all going to squat today. Here's how you squat. Here's what you're going to do. I want you to go ahead and use the barbell in your rack. I want you to go ahead and grab onto that handle right there so that you have some extra help. And I want you to hold on to that kettlebell and do a goblet squat. And so that way it's not totally, just a generic program, but it is just more similar than we're used to. Usually we do get real specific and customized with our programming. And it's really more just to simplify it for the coach, to keep our sessions. We're going to try to shoot for a 45-minute session. So that'll help us to keep things, where we can get a lot done in a 45-minute period and be able to coach easily while they're using, their own equipment, and just kind of keeping everything streamlined. But we don't plan on that. No, I don't. Honestly, we did not change our prices at all. Our clients still pay full price for virtual. I do not think you should discount your services. It's so much harder to go back. And so as much as possible, find a way to give value. That's been our, ongoing, how can we give more value to make sure that we are, showing up for the price that they pay, but we have not discounted any of our services and don't plan to.
And then Aaron in the chat wants to know, in regards to equipment for virtual, does a headset like you're wearing, Rachel, help with clients hearing you better, especially if the client has some background noise, and are you using anything else from an audio perspective?
Yes, we sure are. We use, so this would be, if you're actually teaching a workout, this probably wouldn't work because this is attached to my computer. But definitely anything that you have that can decrease the outside noise can definitely help. So we've used, you can use, get a lapel mic that's Bluetoothed, basically it's connected straight to whatever source you're using, video source. I wouldn't say I'm the expert on this, but there's definitely things you can do to get better audio.
Excellent. And are you asking that because she's wearing the headset and I'm not, and you hear background noise here? Because I just want to know. That's just a curiosity.
Rick, that was actually a question from me, and I was just trying to get you to buy a headset.
I'm trying to get better. So, hey, Greg, are there any other questions? Because I have a finisher that I want to ask, and then we'll close it out and let you get ready for your next meeting.
Finish away, Rick. Excellent.
So this is a finish the sentence or fill in the blank for you, Rachel.
Okay.
So, and I pulled this as a quote from one of the emails that had come out from you guys, and I don't care if you fill it in with what you said in the email, but because things kind of shift in perspective in the current time you're being asked a question. But please fill in the blank, and then let's chat about it for a moment. Your income will be in direct correlation to your blank.
I believe it was your ability to sell.
Yep.
It's an old email, right? Or is this current?
No, it's a recent email, but
this is a quiz. Did I get the answer right?
No, but it's not wrong. That's the whole point of it, right? Like, your ability to sell is going to be a direct correlation to your income.
Okay. What did I say? What was it?
I believe it had something to do with systems or funnels, or with your funnels or your strategies that are put together. I would say
Yeah, direct correlation to the number of your list, the size of your list. I may have said
that. That's what it was, yeah.
Okay. Like I was talking about, right now is a great time to build your list. And in direct proportion to your ability to sell too. I mean, really, it's about, helping people, right? So sales, marketing, all of that is about helping more people. And don't be afraid of it. Don't be afraid to help more people. Don't be afraid to get people onto your list. Don't be afraid to communicate with them. I think, as trainers, we're so afraid of sales. We're so afraid of marketing. We're so afraid of a pitch, that we end up not helping as many people as we could. And right now is a great time to hone your marketing skills, your sales skills, and really get yourself where you all sales is guiding someone down the path to change their life. That's all you're doing, is saying the right things, using the right words to help them to make the right decisions to change their life. And so it's a good thing, so, and your income will be in direct proportion to how well you can sell and how, the size of your list as far as number of people that are interested in what you do and ready to get help from you.
Love it. And that kind of goes back to what you were mentioning before about pricing. And it reminds me of something Fabio Camana said a couple of weeks ago when I had him on the show. He said price is only a roadblock in the absence of value. And so when you put out that value and people are cared for and they feel cared for, then they're willing to continue to pay you that price, and there's no need to discount it and to sell yourself short, sell your services short, because I did a hosting for how to sell for a company here in New York City, online virtually. And my whole point was, if you can keep your prices the same, great. But the option probably is keep your prices the same, but you may have to add more value to what you're offering. So if it is less valuable to be at home and have your clients exercising online, you have to come up with something else to create more value. And once you do that, the price not dropping is not an issue. So that price being a roadblock only in the absence of value, I think is a valuable component to what we do. So with that said, I want to express my gratitude and seeing you here. And we did get an opportunity to get to know each other and chat a little bit at the last conference that we were at. Probably 2 weeks or a week before the shutdown took place. So it was wonderful getting to know you better, and a delight having you here. So for those that would love to learn more about you and what you do, can you just give them the skinny on everything, like how to reach you, contact you, the business, the email address, all that stuff?
Sure. So I'm on Instagram and Facebook. So Rach Cosgrove on Instagram. So just RACH Cosgrove on Instagram. And then Facebook, I have Rachel Cosgrove fan page. And then you can also check out Results Fitness University. So go to resultsfitnessuniversity.com. And we're also on Instagram and Facebook. So definitely look us up. I post every day. So I'm definitely putting out frequent, content. And then as you head over to resultsfitnessuniversity.com, you can jump on our email list and get our weekly emails of a lot of the stuff that you were mentioning, so that you can stay in our loop.
Awesome. Rachel, thank you so much. I appreciate you being here.
Thank you. Thank you for having me on.
Awesome. And everybody, thank you so much for listening. This is the NASM-CPT Podcast and our Facebook Live webcast.